Some bands seem like they've disappeared into rock history, their legacy sealed in the past. But every now and then, a band we thought was gone for good makes a shocking return that redefines everything we thought we knew about comebacks. Join us as we take a look at the 10 70s and 80s rock bands who vanished, then made a shocking comeback. Number 10, the Eagles.
Take it easy.
Formed in 1971, the Eagles quickly became one of the most influential rock bands of the 1970s. Their harmony-laden country rock sound struck a chord with fans worldwide, and their hits like Hotel California and Take It Easy became anthems of the era. However, despite their success, internal conflicts began to take a toll on the band. By 1980, tensions between band members, particularly between Don Henley and Glenn Frey, had reached a breaking point. With egos clashing and creative differences mounting, the Eagles broke up, leaving behind a legacy of classic hits but a fractured relationship between its members. For 14 years, it seemed like the Eagles were done for good. Their breakup was bitter, with rumors of animosity circulating for years. But in 1994, something unexpected happened. The Eagles reunited. In a move that would shock fans everywhere, they released Hell Freezes Over, a live album and accompanying tour that delivered a mix of classic hits and 4 new studio tracks.
On the dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair.
Their comeback was nothing short of monumental, not only because of the massive success of Hell Freezes Over, but also because it marked the return of a band that seemed irreparably fractured. Number 9, Deep Purple. In the early 70s, Deep Purple helped pioneer heavy rock. With iconic albums like Machine Head and their timeless anthem Smoke on the Water, they became one of the world's biggest rock bands, defining the sound of hard rock for an entire generation. But in July 1976, after years of internal conflict and lineup changes, the band called it quits. It seemed like the end of an era for the legendary group. But little did anyone know, their best days were still ahead. Fast forward to 1984, 8 years after their disbandment, and the heavy rock world was about to witness one of the most shocking reunions in rock history. Deep Purple's classic Mark II lineup, consisting of Ritchie Blackmore, Ian Gillan, Roger Glover, John Lord, and Ian Pace, came together to release Perfect Strangers.
Can you remember my name?
The album was a commercial and critical success, and it launched a new era for Deep Purple. The reunion tour that followed proved that Deep Purple still had the fire, with their performances rivaling those of their early years. The chemistry between the members, most notably Blackmore's blistering guitar and Gillan's powerhouse vocals, showed that the magic of their classic lineup was far from gone. Number 8, Blondie. Blondie was at the forefront of the new wave movement, with their unique blend of punk, pop, and disco making them one of the most iconic bands of the era. Led by the charismatic Debbie Harry, the band scored massive hits like Heart of Glass and Call Me, becoming one of the best-selling bands of all time. But by 1982, after the release of The Hunter, Blondie called it quits, with members focusing on solo projects and Harry pursuing her acting career. But in a twist that shocked fans, Blondie reunited in 1997, marking the return of one of the most beloved bands of the 70s. They reformed to record No Exit, the band's first album in 17 years. Blondie's comeback was a powerful statement that some bands are too unique and influential to ever truly fade away. No Exit was proof that the magic that made Blondie iconic in the first place still lived on, and fans were more than willing to embrace it. After their 15-year hiatus, the punk pop icons had successfully re-established themselves in the music scene, proving that even after years away, Blondie was still a force to be reckoned with. Number 7, The Police.
Roxanne, you don't have to put up.
The Police were one of the most successful and innovative bands of the late 70s and early 80s, blending punk, reggae, and rock into a sound that was uniquely their own. Hits like Roxanne, Message in a Bottle, and Every Breath You Take made them international superstars, and their 1983 album, Synchronicity, was a massive commercial and critical success. But despite their success, tensions between the band members, particularly between frontman Sting and drummer Stuart Copeland, were escalating, and in 1984, after a sold-out world tour, the Police took a hiatus. For years, the fans held out hope for a reunion, but it seemed like the band was done. Sting went on to have a successful solo career, and it appeared that the Police had called it quits for good.
Just a castaway, an island lost at sea.
But in 2007, something amazing happened. The Police reunited. After years of speculation, Sting, Andy Summers, and Stuart Copeland came together for a global tour that would become the highest-grossing tour of that year. Number 6. Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses were the undisputed kings of rock, delivering raw, gritty anthems like Sweet Child of Mine, Welcome to the Jungle, and November Rain that defined a generation. However, by the mid-90s, internal feuds, drugs, and egos had torn the band apart, resulting in lineup changes and the eventual departure of key members like Slash and Duff McKagan. The classic Guns N' Roses lineup that once ruled the rock scene seemed like a distant memory. Then in 2016, something no one thought possible happened. Axl, Slash, and Duff reunited. First in a surprise warm-up gig at LA's Troubadour, then as headliners at Coachella. It marked the beginning of the Not in This Lifetime tour, a global juggernaut that became the highest-grossing tour of 2017 and one of the most successful ever. What made their comeback so shocking wasn't just the star power involved, but the fact that they managed to bury years of bitter feuds. The chemistry between Axl, Slash, and Duff was palpable on stage, and the band's energy was as electrifying as ever. Fans who had thought they'd never see this lineup perform together again were treated to a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Not only did the reunion bring old hits back to life, but it also proved that even after years of conflict, true rock legends could find their way back together and still reign supreme in the music world. Number 5. Journey. Journey's rise to fame was nothing short of meteoric. With their hit songs like Don't Stop Believin', Any Way You Want It, and Open Arms becoming great parts of the rock genre. The band's mix of arena rock anthems and soaring ballads earned them a dedicated fan base and a place in rock history. However, after the Raised on Radio tour in 1987, the band went on hiatus, and lead singer Steve Perry, the heart and soul of the band, went on to pursue a solo career. For nearly a decade, it seemed that Journey was no more. But in 1995, after years of silence, Steve Perry agreed to reunite with Journey. The reunion was set in motion with the release of Trial by Fire in 1996, an album that marked the first time Perry had sung with the band in nearly a decade. Though their reunion tour never materialized due to Perry's health issues, Trial by Fire was a testament to the band's enduring appeal. Their ability to unite and captivate fans once again proved that no matter how much time has passed, the spirit of rock is always ready to rise again. Number 4. Fleetwood Mac. Fleetwood Mac's rise to fame in the 70s was fueled by both musical brilliance and internal strife. Their 1977 album Rumours remains one of the best-selling albums of all time, thanks to classics like Go Your Own Way, Dreams, and The Chain. But the band's personal lives were in turmoil, particularly the rocky relationships between band members Stevie Nicks, Lindsey Buckingham, and Christine McVie. Despite their success, tensions from these relationships eventually led to the band's split. After the release of Tango in the Night in 1987, Fleetwood Mac seemed to be over, with members pursuing solo careers and making it clear that the band's time had passed. However, in 1997, the classic lineup consisting of Nicks, Buckingham, McVie, John McVie, and Mick Fleetwood reunited for 2 sold-out shows in Los Angeles. What made Fleetwood Mac's comeback so remarkable was not just their musical return, but the emotional depth that underpinned it. The band was a reflection of the personal drama they had lived through: love, loss, and betrayal. and that raw emotion resonated with fans old and new. Number 3. Led Zeppelin.
Way down inside, I wanna give you my love.
Led Zeppelin's influence on rock music cannot be overstated. From their iconic albums like Four and Physical Graffiti, to anthems such as Stairway to Heaven and Whole Lotta Love, they are widely considered one of the greatest and most important bands in rock history. However, their story took a tragic turn when drummer John Bonham died in 1980, effectively ending the band. For decades, the surviving members, Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, and John Paul Jones, remained silent about the prospect of ever reuniting. But in 2007, after years of speculation, Led Zeppelin made a stunning comeback. The surviving members reunited for the Ahmet Ertegun tribute concert at London's O2 Arena on December 10, 2007. Joined by Bonham's son Jason on drums, the band performed a set of classic songs that left fans stunned and yearning for more. The concert was a triumph, an emotional tribute to Bonham's memory, and a reaffirmation of Led Zeppelin's place in rock history. It was the first full Led Zeppelin performance in 27 years, and it proved that the band could still ignite that same passion and energy that had made them legends in the first place. Number 2. The Cars.
I guess you're just what I needed. I needed.
The Cars were at the forefront of the new wave and power pop movement, creating some of the most recognizable songs of the era, including Just What I Needed, Drive, and You Might Think. Their unique blend of rock, pop, and electronic influences helped them stand out, and they were a major part of the musical landscape of the 80s. But after disbanding in 1988, it seemed like the band had faded into rock history. Then in 2010, the surviving members of the Cars reunited, much to the surprise of the fans and critics. The band's comeback was solidified in 2011, with the release of Move Like This, their first album in 23 years. While it was clear that the band's musical style had evolved over the years, Move Like This demonstrated that the essence of the Cars, memorable melodies, tight arrangements, and energy, was still alive and well. Number 1. Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath is popularly recognized as the band that pioneered heavy metal, with albums like Paranoid and Master of Reality defining the genre for generations of fans. But by the late 70s, internal tensions, particularly between Ozzy Osbourne and the guitarist Tony Iommi, began to fracture the band, and Osbourne was ousted in 1979. While the band continued to make music with new vocalists, they never quite recaptured the magic of their original lineup. The classic lineup of Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward, finally reunited in 1997. The reunion was made official with a 2-night stand at Birmingham's NEC, the band's hometown, which would be recorded and released as Reunion, a live album that captured the raw power and chemistry of the original lineup. The reunion sparked renewed interest in the band, and served as a reminder of their unrivaled influence on the heavy metal genre. Which of these legendary comebacks shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments down below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more rock stories and unforgettable moments from music history.